Okay, imagine this. An $8 billion gain that hasn't, even landed in the bank yet.
An unrealized gain, yeah.
Exactly. That's the kind of number Alphabet, Google's parent company, was mentioning in their Q1 2025 earnings. It's from a private investment.
Quite something.
It really is, and it hints at a much bigger picture. So for this deep dive, we've really gone through it, all the official earnings release, the full call transcript, those summary slides.
And the Wiz acquisition call transcript too, right?
Yes, that as well. So our mission, as always, is to give you the key takeaways, the surprising bits, and what it all actually means for Alphabet and, well, the wider tech world.
Without getting too bogged down in the weeds.
Precisely. We want you to get the insights without the headache.
Well, what immediately jumps out, I think, is just how strong and broad that Q1 performance was. Revenue growth was 12% year over year.
Which brought them to $90.2 billion. That's huge.
It is. And Sundar Pichai said it reflects robust momentum across the business. And it wasn't just one thing driving it.
Right, you had Google Search, YouTube ads, the subscriptions and devices part, Google Cloud.
All of them delivered double-digit growth. It really shows the sort of diversified strength they have.
Yeah, it's not just a one-trick pony. And it wasn't only revenue, was it? Operating income saw a big jump, too.
A very big jump, up 20% to $30.6 billion, and the operating margin expanded. It's now at 34%.
34%, that's a healthy margin. And the bottom line, net income.
Even more impressive, actually. It soared 46% to $34.5 billion.
Wow. And earnings per share.
Up 49%, hitting $2.81 per share. It feels like they're really hitting their stride, maybe even accelerating.
Definitely accelerating. And with that kind of performance, they're obviously thinking about shareholders, too.
Absolutely. They announced a 5% dividend increase, up to 71 cents per share.
Okay.
And maybe more significantly, they authorized up to an additional $70 billion for stock buybacks.
70 billion. That's a huge signal of confidence, isn't it? Shows management believes the stock is valuable.
It certainly does. It's a major return of capital to investors.
Now, back to that intriguing $8 billion unrealized gain you mentioned.
Yeah, the one from the private company investment.
It's not cash yet, obviously, but it does suggest some pretty smart investing decisions happening maybe behind the scenes.
Makes you wonder what else is cooking in their investment portfolio, right? What future value might be there.
Exactly. Which kind of brings us to the core strategy, doesn't it? AI.
Absolutely. Sundar Pichai kept coming back to their unique full-stack approach to AI. He sees it as the main engine driving this growth.
He sounded really excited about Gemini 2.5, didn't he? Calling it their most intelligent AI model.
Yeah, highlighting his breakthroughs in performance and even mentioning it hit the top spot on Chatbot Arena. They clearly see AI as fundamental.
And it's not just about having the best tech, it's about getting it used. Pichai talked about AI overviews in search.
Reaching 1.5 billion monthly users. That's massive uptake, incredibly fast.
It really signals a shift in how people search, and that AI mode experiment sounds fascinating too.
The one where average query length is double that of traditional search.
Yeah. It seems like having AI there encourages people to ask, more complex, detailed questions.
That doubling is a really interesting data point. It suggests users feel more comfortable asking exploratory things, not just keywords.
Moving beyond search, they're also gaining serious ground with subscriptions.
Over 270 million paid subscriptions now, driven mainly by YouTube and Google One.
Shows people are willing to pay for premium content and services. That's a solid recurring revenue base.
Definitely. And, of course, Google Cloud keeps growing rapidly. Huge demand there.
So let's maybe break down the segments a bit more. Google services first.
Sure, that's the big one. Encompassing search, ads, Android, Chrome, YouTube, etc. Revenue there was up 10% to $77.3 billion.
Driven mostly by search, YouTube ads.
And a really strong 19% jump in Google subscriptions, platforms, and devices.
Although Google Network saw a small dip, down 2%.
Right, but within services, search strength was pretty broad. Financial services, especially insurance, led the way, then retail.
And YouTube showed similar strength across its categories, too.
And on the subscription growth, the CFO, Anat Ashkenazi, she specifically pointed out it was mostly just more people signing up for YouTube stuff and Google One.
Wow.
Subscriber growth itself was the key driver.
Got it. Okay, what about Google Cloud? That seems to be a real growth engine.
Oh, absolutely. Revenue there jumped 28% to $12.3 billion. Really impressive.
And that was mostly GCP, right? Their core cloud platform.
Exactly. GCP, which includes core infrastructure, AI infrastructure, and their generative AI solutions, was the main driver. They noted GCP growth was actually higher than the overall cloud revenue growth.
Interesting. So the core platform is really pulling its weight, and Workspace.
Workspace grew too, mostly because they're getting more revenue per user, basically.
Hmm.
Increased average revenue per seat.
And crucially, cloud isn't just growing revenue anymore, it's making good money too.
Yes, that's a big development. Operating income hit $2.2 billion, up massively from $900 million last year,
And the margin.
up to 17.8%. That's a very healthy margin. It shows those big investments in scaling the cloud business are really starting to pay off on the bottom line.
Okay, and quickly, the other bets segment, the moonshots.
Revenue there was down a bit to $450 million, and the operating loss actually increased to $1.2 billion.
Hmm. Loss increased.
Yeah, but there's context there. It was mainly because they got a big milestone payment in Q1 last year, which made the comparison this year look worse.
Okay, so not necessarily a fundamental worsening, just a tough comparison.
Exactly.
Right. So the financials look strong. Let's pivot back to the tech driving it AI. Pichai really hammered this home.
He did. He talked about their whole AI infrastructure stack, starting with the foundation, that massive global network, 2 million miles of fiber, 33 subsea cables.
That's the plumbing that makes it all possible, isn't it?
Precisely. And then the hardware. They're investing heavily in their own TPUs, tensor processing units, and GPUs.
Like Ironwood, their latest TPU.
Yeah, the 7th gen TPU.
Yeah.
Designed specifically for inference, running the models efficiently at scale. He said it offers 10x the compute power and is twice as power efficient as their last high-performance one.
Wow. And they're working closely with NVIDIA, too.
Very closely. First, will offer NVIDIA's new Blackwell B200 and GB200 GPUs, and they'll offer the upcoming Vera Rubin ones, too. It gives them access to top-tier hardware, both their own and others.
And on the model side, the R&D seems relentless.
Incredibly fast. Gemini 2.5 Pro launched, quickly got recognized as state-of-the-art, topped that chatbot arena. Then Gemini 2.5 Flash came out.
That's the one optimized for quality and cost, right? Faster, cheaper.
Right, exactly. And Imagen 3 and VO2 for image and video generation are rolling out. Even their open-source Gemma models have over 140 million downloads.
It feels like they're pushing AI everywhere. Text, images, video, code.
And applying it in really novel ways, too. He mentioned Gemini Robotics, the AI co-scientist for health research, AlphaFold.
Powerful's impact is huge, right? Millions of researchers using it.
Over 2.5 million, yeah. It
Okay.
just shows the potential beyond the obvious consumer applications. It's driving real scientific progress.
And all this tech is flowing directly into their products.
Yep, Gemini models are in all 15 of their major products now, reaching over 500 million users. Android, Pixel.
They're upgrading Google Assistant to Gemini too, aren't they?
Across phones, tablets, cars, connected devices, basically everywhere Assistant was, Gemini will be. The Pixel 9a launch emphasized AI features, Gemini Live for camera and screen sharing on Android.
So AI is becoming deeply woven into the user experience.
Completely integrated.
Okay, let's talk specifically about search and AI. How is it changing search?
Well, fundamentally, AI lets Google answer more types of questions, more complex ones. AI overviews is a big part of that.
Expanding to 140 countries, 100 plus languages, that's global reach.
And crucially, Philip Schindler, the chief business officer, he made a point of saying monetization is happening at about the same rate as traditional search results.
That's key for the business model, obviously. They can provide richer answers without hurting ad revenue, it seems.
Exactly. And that AI mode experiment in labs sounds like the next step.
The one with advanced reasoning, multimodal capabilities.
Right. Handling text, images, video. It's built for those much longer, more complex queries we talked about.
And the early feedback is positive on design, speed, understanding complexity.
That's what they reported. Definitely one to watch closely.
And multimodal search is growing fast too, circle to search.
Now on over 250 million devices. Usage up 40% just in the quarter.
And Lens, visual search.
An incredible 5 billion visual searches a month. Shopping on Lens grew over 10%. And importantly, most Lens queries are new searches.
Meaning people are searching visually for things they wouldn't have typed out.
Precisely. It's expanding the ways people interact with search.
Okay, shifting to Google Cloud. How are they using AI there?
Heavily. Their Cloud Next event really focused on it. Providing cost-effective, high-performance AI infrastructure was a big theme.
With examples like AnyScale, contextual AI, Verizon using it.
Yeah, showing real-world applications. They also highlighted Google Distributed Cloud and Sovereign AI.
That's about bringing Gemini capabilities on premises or keeping data within specific countries.
Exactly. For customers with those requirements.
And Vertex AI seems central to their strategy.
It's becoming their main platform for AI development. Over 200 foundation models available. Lowe's integrating it was a key example they shared.
And they offer models beyond their own, like Llama and Anthropic.
Yes, providing choice is a big part of the pitch. Their own models like Gemini 2.5, Imagen 3, VO2, but also open and third-party ones. Flexibility for customers.
What about these AI agents they talked about? Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that seems like a major push. They launch an agent development kit, open source, and agent designer, which is low code.
Making it easier to build AI agents for specific tasks.
Right. And Google Agent Space is where these agents can operate. KPMG is using it to help find and summarize information, take actions.
So AI doing tasks within an organization.
Exactly. They even have prepackaged agents for things like customer engagement or coding. And don't forget Workspace.
Over 2 billion AI assists a month now, like summarizing emails in Gmail.
Yep, summarizing, refining text in docs, things like that. AI is becoming a productivity tool within Workspace.
And cybersecurity is another big AI focus for cloud.
Definitely. Using Gemini for better malware detection, threat prioritization, faster investigations.
Which leads directly to the Wiz acquisition, doesn't it?
It does. The plan to acquire Wiz for $32 billion. That's a massive bet on cybersecurity.
And Wiz is known for securing multi-cloud environments, right? AWS, Azure, not just Google Cloud.
Exactly. It protects across major clouds and code environments. The idea is to simplify security in this multi-cloud reality.
Okay, let's switch gears quickly to YouTube. 20 years old.
Hard to believe, isn't it? Subscriptions are now a really big part of their business. They're trying new things like Premium Lite in the U.S.
And still dominating streaming watch time in the U.S.
#1 for the last 2 years, according to Nielsen. And they now have over 1 billion monthly active podcast users.
1 billion for podcasts, wow. And music and premium subscribers.
Over 125 million globally, including trials. Shows the ad-free music combo's working.
How about the ad side on YouTube?
Brand advertising did well, boosted by big events like Coachella and March Madness. Finance and retail were strong sectors in Q1.
And the reservation-based ads, the ones booked in advance.
More than doubled year over year. Creator collaborations are also proving effective. They highlighted a Toyota and Zach King campaign that lifted brand awareness by 25%.
In shorts, still growing.
Yep, engaged viewership up over 20%. And they're making progress on monetizing shorts, especially in the U.S. Seems YouTube is navigating the short-form video trend successfully.
Okay, one more area. Waymo, what's the latest there?
Progress seems pretty steady, even accelerating. They're now doing over 250,000 paid rides every week.
Paid rides, that's key. And up 5x from last year.
Yes, significant growth. They launched paid service in L.A., expanded with Uber in Austin, and Atlanta is coming this summer.
And looking further ahead.
Washington, D.C. in 2026, Miami announced 2. Plus, they're working on airport access and driving on freeways.
It feels like they're building towards wider commercialization. Partnerships seem key, too.
Definitely. Uber for ride-hailing, MV for fleet maintenance, working with car manufacturers, exploring different business models is crucial for them right now.
Right. Let's look at the financial outlook now. What did the CFO and Ashkenazi say?
Well, she flagged that the really strong performance in financial services advertising last year will make the comparison tougher for Google Services ads in 2025.
Okay, managing expectations there. And for cloud?
She noted growth rates might fluctuate a bit. Depends on demand, supply, and importantly, the timing of when they roll out new capacity. Expect more capacity deployment toward the end of 2025.
And capital expenditure, still a big number.
Still projected around $75 billion for the full year.
Per code bear.
Vary quarter to quarter based on construction and delivery schedule.
And that big CapEx number means more depreciation, right?
Yeah.
Affecting profits.
Exactly. Depreciation pressure will continue. It was up 41% year over year in Q1, and she expects that growth rate to accelerate through 2025.
Oof. So higher costs there. Are they hiring?
Some headcount growth expected in key areas, yes. But she noted Q1 stock-based compensation was relatively lower just due to timing of grants changing.
And overall, are they still focused on efficiency?
Yeah.
Cutting costs.
Very much so. Ashkenazi emphasized that focus across the board, operating expenses, and CapEx. Re-engineering the cost base is ongoing.
Trying to offset those headwinds like depreciation and fund the innovation.
Precisely. Rigorous process for CapEx decisions.
Yeah.
Trying to moderate compensation growth, optimize real estate, use infrastructure more efficiently, all standard efficiency levers.
Yeah. She also mentioned something about gross margin expansion.
Yeah, driven by revenue mix. Strong search growth, which has lower traffic acquisition costs, and the decline in network, which has higher TAC. That helps the overall margin.
even though depreciation hits cost of sales and R&D?
Right. Moderating headcount costs helped offset some depreciation in Q1, but she warned the depreciation impact will get bigger going forward.
Okay, let's circle back to that Wiz acquisition. What were the key details from Ashkenazi?
The price tag, $32 billion, dollars, all cash, subject to adjustments. A massive deal.
Shows real confidence in Google Cloud's cybersecurity position and the market opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But she stressed their capital allocation priorities haven't changed. It's still 1, organic investment, 2, M&A like Wiz, and 3, returning capital to shareholders.
And when does the deal close?
Expected sometime in 2026. It needs regulatory approvals and other standard conditions. Once it closes, Wiz results become part of the Google Cloud segment.
And strategically, the goal is better multi-cloud security.
Yes,
Right.
a stronger foundation for cloud security that works across different clouds. Critically, Wiz will continue to fully support AWS, Azure, Oracle, etc. after the acquisition. Maintaining that multi-cloud support is key.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what are the main things that stand out from this quarter?
Well, first, just really strong, broad-based growth across the business, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, definitely. Second.
The undeniable centrality of AI, it's not just a feature, it's woven into almost everything they do and driving a lot of that growth.
Agreed. And third.
The strategic boldness, especially with the Wiz acquisition, a huge investment solidifying their play in cloud security, acknowledging the multi-cloud world.
Right. So our mission here at the Deep Dive is always to cut through the noise and give you that clear understanding. Hopefully this conversation helped do that for Alphabet's latest updates.
Which leaves us with something for you, the listener, to think about. Given how deeply AI is now embedded everywhere in Alphabet Search, Cloud, Waymo, everywhere, what does that mean for their long-term competitive edge? Can they keep up this pace?
And that Wiz deal. As multi-cloud becomes standard, how will integrating Wiz truly change the security landscape for businesses? Will it simplify things or create new complexity?
Yeah, big questions about the future shape of tech and security. Lots to ponder.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Look forward to the next one.